Good evening. The Tuesday, May 16th, 2023 Town Council meeting is now hereby called to order. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Yes, sir. Councilman Brown,
Present.
Councilman Fields,
Here.
Chair Pro Tem Miles,
Present.
Councilwoman Peterson,
Present.
Councilman Pete, Vice Mayor Nickerson,
Here.
Mayor Wood.
Present. Please.
Sir,
I was gonna say, please note, Councilman Pete was not feeling well today, so he's not here. He called.
thank you, sir. Sir, you have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. All right, we'll start with our invocation by Dr. James Cole, the pastor of the Concordia Lutheran Church here in Triangle. One of our beloved residents here in the town.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much. Well, thank you, Vet, for inviting me to come this evening, and I'm pleased to be here. And it's really good. I just want to point out, it's good that you ask God's blessings in what you do. Actually, he's the one that gave you your job, so you might as well thank him and ask him to guide you as you do his work. If I may, since we're close to Mother's Day, I'd like to kind of incorporate that fact in my invocation or my prayer. So I will do that with your permission. Dear Lord, since you formed our first mother, you've given life to all generations through all the mothers who follow after, with the opportunity to nurture and train children that they may grow, especially in the knowledge and service of you. For all this, we give you thanks, and we ask that you lead us to honor our mothers as well as our fathers, in Jesus' name. And then moving to the theme for the day, we thank you that you have called the men and women before us, the various positions they hold. We ask that you would bless all activities this evening, including plans that are before this gathering, that they may be carried out in accordance with your will. Guide us to change things that need altering, remove those things that may no longer serve your purpose, and guide us all through Christ our Lord, who came not to be served, but to serve. Amen.
Before we get started, I just want to read a statement. I want to address with mixed emotions the disheartening incident that we had last week. It's with great disappointment that I got to inform you of this recent act of vandalism that took place on our old rescue squad building. It was in broad daylight. There was a group of young individuals made some unfortunate choices to break all the windows, leaving a trail of destruction. However, in this moment of disappointment, I find solace and encouragement in the knowledge that these misguided actions do not define the character of our entire youth population. Our community is blessed with an abundance of talented, passionate, and compassionate young individuals who continuously strive to make a positive difference in our town. They're shining examples of our community's potential. The old rescue squad building holds immense potential for our community. It stands as a beacon of hope with the capacity to bring forth opportunities for growth, for learning, and unity. Our vision as a council for this building is to transform it into a vibrant center that will host before and after school programs, foster civic learning, provide tutoring services, and a wide range of recreational programs for all ages. It will serve as a place where our seniors can also engage and have activities where families can gather and where lifelong friendships can be forged. While this recent act of vandalism is undoubtedly a setback, It will not deter us from our mission to create a community center that uplifts and empowers our residents. Together as a community, we will restore and we're going to rebuild that old rescue squad, not just physically, but also emotionally. This incident serves as a stark reminder of the work that lies ahead, the work necessary to nurture and guide our youth towards a brighter future. It's essential that we do not lose faith in the potential of our young people. Instead, I think as a council, we're going to redouble down on our efforts to provide our youth with guidance, resources, and opportunities that they need to thrive. Through education, mentorship, and positive engagement, we have the power to shape the leaders of tomorrow. To those young individuals who are responsible for this act of vandalism, I implore you to reflect upon your actions. Understand that our community believes in your potential and we hope for your growth. We're ready to offer you support and guidance, for we believe that by redirecting your energy towards constructive endeavors, you can contribute to the prosperity and unity of our town. We extend an invitation to those involved in this unfortunate incident to come forward and take responsibility for your actions. By doing so, you have the opportunity not only make amends, but to also receive the assistance needed for your own personal growth and redemption. Let us work together to find a path towards healing and transformation. As we come together to rebuild this old rescue squad building, let us come together as a community to rebuild the trust and nurture the potential of all our youth. Together, let us create an environment where they can thrive, where the talents can be nurtured, and where they can contribute positively to the betterment of our community. I have faith in our community's ability to rise above this setback. Let us stand strong and united in our commitment to creating a brighter future for all. Together, we can overcome obstacles, we can inspire change, and we can build a community that thrives on compassion, understanding, and opportunity. With that said, I move that we move on the agenda. Is there adoption for the agenda?
So moved.
Okay,
Second.
it's been moved in second. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, I'll call for the question. Mr. Fields?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem?
Aye.
Vice Mayor?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Ms. Peterson?
Aye.
And that's a yes for me. That motion carries 6-0. First on our agenda is a proclamation for a Mental Health Month and Trauma Awareness. The proclamation reads, whereas the town of Dumfries recognizes the importance of mental health and well-being in the lives of all residents and the impact of trauma on physical, emotional, and mental health, especially for children, families, and communities. Whereas mental health was established in 1949 to increase awareness of the importance of mental health and wellness in American lives and to celebrate recovery from mental illness. And whereas mental health is essential to a person's overall health, and prevention and treatment are effective in helping individual recovery from mental health disorders and lead full and productive lives. And whereas over the past 20 years, the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and other organizations and communities have made significant efforts to increase awareness and understanding of prevention and treatment of mental health problems. And whereas these efforts have improved the outlook for those affected by mental illness and successful programs, the initiatives have increased awareness, acceptance, support, prevention, and recovery from mental health conditions. And whereas Mental Health Month provides a valuable opportunity to celebrate the strides made in promoting mental health and increasing public knowledge that effective services and support are available. And whereas the town of Dumfries encourages all residents to access the resources and information available to promote mental health and well-being, including the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Administration, Mental Health Services Locator, the Garrett Lee Smith State Tribal Suicide Prevention Program, and the Office of Adolescent Health's adolescent mental health resources. That's a mouthful. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Derek R. Wood, Town of Dumfries, along with the Dumfries Town Council, do hereby proclaim the month of May as Mental Health Month and Trauma Awareness in the Town of Dumfries. Let us work together to increase awareness and understanding of mental health and well-being, to promote acceptance and support, and to advocate for policies and programs that improve access to mental health services. Signed, 16th day of May, 2023, Mayor D.R. Wood. Representative for the mental health. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Okay. Yeah.
Good evening. My name's Carl Street. I'm with Youth for Tomorrow, and we have an outpatient office here that serves children, adolescents, and adults in Dumfries at Fettler Park in partnership with Centera Hospital and a grant from Potomac Health Foundation. We've been serving the community now for over 2 years, and we just enjoy being a part of the community and being able to help and available to meet the needs. And thank you so much for just recognizing Mental Health Month. And again, we're just happy to be able to serve. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, remember one time mental health didn't get talked about that much at all. Next is Teacher Appreciation Month. National Teachers Proclamation. It says, whereas the Town of Dumfries recognize the crucial role that teachers play in shaping the future of our community and our nation. And whereas the tireless work and dedication of teachers at Dumfries Elementary School have made significant impact on the lives of our students. And whereas National Teachers Day is celebrated annually to recognize and honor the valuable contributions that teachers across the country. And whereas the Town of Dumfries is proud to join in the celebration by expressing our appreciation for the exceptional educators at Dumfries Elementary School. Now, therefore, I, Mayor Wood, and the Town Council of the Town of Dumfries do hereby proclaim May 3rd, 2023 as National Teachers Day in the Town of Dumfries. And we urge all residents to join in recognizing the vital role of teachers in shaping the future of our community and our nation. Furthermore, we commend the teachers of Dumfries Elementary School for their unwavering commitment to the education and well-being of our students. Your hard work and dedication and unwavering commitment to excellence have not gone unnoticed. Let us take this opportunity to express our gratitude for those teachers. Also to our teacher that we have here present, Mr. Judge, the PE teacher, for their tireless efforts in creating a safe and nurturing learning environment for our children who have made a profound impact on their lives. And for that, we are truly grateful. As a community, let us continue to support our teachers and let us acknowledge their contributions to our society. Let us work together to ensure that our students receive the best education possible and that our teachers receive the recognition and support they deserve. Signed, Mayor Derek R. Wood. Okay, if we got to show the teachers some love.
All right. Hi, my name is Michael Judge, and I've been the PE teacher at Dumfries for the past 8 years now. It's a great honor to be here on behalf of Dumfries Elementary and to accept this on behalf of all of us over there. We all work very hard day in and day out. But it's also a lot of fun for me too, because I grew up in this area. My grandmother taught at Dumfries. My mother was raised here. My family runs deep here. I played baseball at Potomac High School under the Covingtons, which is a staple name in the area. So it's been a lot of fun to be in this area and come home to work every day. So I've really, really enjoyed the past 8 years, and I hope for many more, and to continue helping with the kids of this area, because I love them just as much as, my own family. So thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, next on our agenda is the approval of the minutes from our May 2nd meeting.
Mayor, I move we approve the meetings from I move we approve the minutes from the May 2nd meeting.
Second.
Okay. It's been properly motioned and second. Any discussion? All right, seeing none. All right. Councilman Brown?
Aye.
Councilwoman Peterson?
Aye.
Vice Mayor?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem?
Aye.
Councilman Fields?
Yes.
And that's a yes for me. That motion carries 6-0. All right. Next on our agenda is our citizen comment time. We're moving right along.
Sir, we do not have anyone signed up to speak tonight.
All right. Was there any citizens that came in late that didn't get a chance to sign in? Okay. Seeing none, we will move to what's it? Reports and presentations. The first report will be about our update on our 275th Charter Anniversary Celebration Committee, who has met twice already. We're gonna have Dr. Anita step to there and give us an update on how the committee is doing on planning these 275th anniversary.
Thank you very much. And members of the steering committee would like to thank you, Councilman, for appointing us. We take our responsibility very seriously, and we're very grateful for the motivation behind everything that Mayor Wood says to us. He's a great leader of our efforts. I have notes just in case I forget anything. This big celebration is going to be a 3-day celebration, and you need to save the dates, please. It's the second weekend of May 2024, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And there's a theme for each day. The theme for the first day is honoring the past of Dumfries. The second is celebrating, that would be Saturday, the 11th of May. That is celebrating the present of Dumfries. And Sunday's celebration is celebrating and honoring and looking forward to the bright future of Dumfries. And each one of those days is going to be bigger than you can imagine. This is no small celebration. We are celebrating the uniqueness of Dumfries. It's very exciting. All that, and I'm sure most of you know about the deep water harbor that was here, and all of the other accomplishments of Dumfries over its 275 years. It's everything to be proud of. And that's our determination, is we are going to celebrate to such a degree that all of the citizens, all of the county, and let's go on to the state, they're all going to know how proud Dumfries is of itself. The sample of activities that are planned on the Friday night, there's going to be a centennial gala, and I understand it's going to be in the ballroom of the new casino. A nice fancy gala going to take place on the Friday night. I'm not going to tell you about everything that we're doing because we'll be here reporting to you from time to time. But on Saturday, we've got parades, we've got floats, we've got all kinds of hands-on activities for the kids coming. Oh, I forgot to mention the press kickoff night is Thursday. We'll be making sure that they know this is coming. The whole area knows this is coming. But the official kickoff for the press is Thursday night, the 9th. There's going to be a huge fireworks display. There's going to be all kinds of exhibits, history, things with the William Spotts Museum, on and on. On Sunday, there's going to be a community choir, a mass choir, and worship service for everyone. And there will be burial of a time capsule to mark this important occasion. The actual founding was on the 11th, and we'll be burying the time capsule on the 12th. There'll be a very memorial closing ceremony on Sunday evening, and we need volunteers. Each one of those days, as the mayor set it out for us on the steering committee, there is a chair for each one of those days. Under the subcommittee chair are volunteers. And we are going to be looking and desperately looking for volunteers to help us set up all of these activities. And do you happen to have any questions for me while I'm here?
Thank you for your
Hey.
very detailed report tonight.
Good.
Wait, I think the Vice Mayor wants to say something to you.
I don't have any questions, but I am very excited. I'm just looking forward to that.
Overwhelmed by the amount of work,
Just a little bit.
but he believes in us.
So do I.
All right, next is our fiscal year 2022 audit presentation by our firm, Robeson Farmers and Cox. Mr. Michael Moran, the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, council. Thank you for having me here today to present a financial report for the town of Dumfries for the year ended June 30th, 2022. My name is Mike Moran. I'm a director at RFC. For the PowerPoint, is it okay if I just give a signal maybe? All right, for tonight's presentation, I know everyone's been waiting all year for this, marked it on their calendars, most exciting one of the year. But I'm going to keep it at a little bit of a higher level. So we'll discuss the engagement summary, auditors required communication with those charged with governance. There's two separate items that are provided to council outside of the report itself. We'll also go over the audit results and a few financial highlights. Starting with the engagement summary, you engaged us to perform a financial statement audit for the year ended June 30th, 2022. This audit was subject to the auditing standards generally accepted in the U.S., to specifications for audits of counties, cities, towns issued by the APA, and the standards for financial audits contained in the government auditing standards issued by the Comptroller General. The audit results, you'll notice in the financial report itself, there's 3 auditor type reports, and what gives it away is you'll see our header on the top of those pages. The first one is our independent auditors report. This is our report on the numbers themselves within the financials. And I'm happy to let you know for the year ended June 30th, 2022, we express an unmodified opinion on the financial statements. So that's a good, clean opinion, and that's exactly what you're looking for that. The second auditor type report, and this is towards the back of the report, is our report on internal control over financial reporting and on compliance. For the year ended June 30th, 2022, we had 2 material weaknesses. The first one was related to the timely bank reconciliations, and the second one is related to the fiscal year end closing procedures. And then we also had one compliance finding, and that's related to the filing of the employer quarterly 941s. And then the third and final auditor type report that's included is our report on compliance for each major program and on internal control over compliance. So this is our report on the single audit. I'm happy to let you know for the year ended June 30th, 2022, we did not identify any material weaknesses or significant deficiencies related to our single audit. For the communication items, as I mentioned, there's 2 separate items that are provided as separate documents. The first one is our governance letter. This is a letter from us, the auditors, to council. In this letter, we'll basically put anything of importance in there, items that we want to make sure that we address to council. For example, if we used any specialists or we had any uncorrected misstatements or any disagreements with management, we'd be sure to highlight them in that letter itself. Now, we didn't have any of that for this year, so it's a very standard letter. The second separate item is our management comments and recommendations. These are items that didn't rise to a level of material weakness or significant deficiency, so they're not on the report itself. However, they still warranted attention by us, so these are our comments and recommendations. And I'm not going to go over all of them right now. However, I just kind of there's a central theme to most of these, and they have to do with segregation of duties and policies and procedures. Moving on to the financial highlights. Your net position, the town's net position at June 30th, 2022 was approximately 11.4 million. When I'm talking net position, I'm talking on full accrual. So this includes your capital assets, your long-term liabilities, and those sort of items. And this is an increase in net position of about 3.3 million from the prior year. So that's 3.3 increase in net income on a full accrual basis. For your fund balances at June 30th, 2022, they were approximately 5.5 million. Of that 5.5, the general fund was about 5.3, and 4.8 of that was unassigned fund balance. And the leftover fund balance in total was the capital projects. And from the prior year, this is an increase in fund balance of, in total, 925,000. So that's your net income on a fund basis, a modified accrual basis. So that doesn't have your capital assets or your long-term liabilities. This is more this is your budgetary basis. And that 925,000 increase, 1.1, excuse me, was in the general fund, and there was a slight decrease in the capital projects fund, about 177,000. My last slide for you here tonight is a historical fund balance chart. I just wanted to illustrate the town's fund balance over the past 5 years. So you can see on the right-hand side, that's 2018 and where you're at now in 2022. Oops. That's all I have for you tonight. I'm happy to take any questions you may have. If I leave here and you think of something you want to ask, feel free to reach out. I'm more than happy to answer any questions.
Vice Mayor.
Oh, thank you. I actually have two questions.
Mhm.
In last year's report, you mentioned that there was deficiencies in the internal controls. And then this year, looking over your information, you talk about segregation of duties. Are those the same issue?
So if I can grab the report, 1 second. So if you could please flip to the back, page 106. On page 106, you'll find our prior year audit findings. And you'll see the one is a repeat, and that's the bank reconciliations. And then there's 3 others that were not repeated.
So the only thing that was repeated then from last year is the bank reconciliation.
Yep,
So that is still a problem.
as of June 30th, 2022, yes.
Can you be a little bit more specific when you talk about the bank reconciliation? What exactly is the issue with the bank reconciliation?
It's the timeliness of it. So if you flip, and this, I can go over this too, just so I can give you a little more context, but if you flip over to page 103. So on page 103, it gives a little more detail on our material weakness there. But what happened for FY22 was that the June bank reconciliation was not completed until October 2022. And really what the town wants to do is make sure they're in a place that they're reconciling their accounts monthly. When you're late on bank reconciliations, it can trickle down to other areas within the financials. So it's good to make sure you get that done monthly.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
One other thing I noticed is that there was information in there where it talked about issues with prompt payment, and also it said, it talked about the COLA. The cost of living at 4% was applied to an incorrect salary. Was that on one person or was that on multiple salaries? Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, it was just one employee. What we do as part of the audit is, we're testing controls. So when we were testing controls over payroll, one of them was, checking to make sure that they received, the right salary and pay rate. So the one individual employee had his pay rate calculated off of not the previous salary, but the one before that. So it was off by, one salary, one pay increase, if that makes sense.
So does that mean that the adjustment was under or over what it should have
It
been?
was less than what it should have been.
So that means then that the employee is actually owed a few dollars.
Yes.
So could that have been an oversight because of the lack of separation of the lack of segregation of duties, because there is no checks and balances from one person checking another person because the same person could be doing
Exactly. Yeah.
everything. Okay.
Yeah. It's just the human error behind it is you want to reduce that as much as possible. So if you can segregate duties, as best as you can, that could reduce that. And you have to really weigh the cost benefit when you're taking into account of what duties you're going to segregate and how much you can really do. There's sometimes limitations to how much staff you can have or can't have. So you really want to make sure you're picking those key areas to segregate duties, and to have reviews and approvals and those sort of items.
Okay, one more thing and then I'm done, I promise.
No problem.
You also mentioned that there was issues with timeliness of or lack of documentation when it comes to proper invoices, receipts, and things of that nature as it relates to credit cards and payments and things like that. Was that something that looked like was that major? Was that minor? What did that really look like?
So in this case, since we didn't elevate it to a level of material weakness or significant deficiency, we felt it was more of a minor item. However, anytime we see that, whether it's just one item or two that are missing, we're going to write it up as management comment and recommendation because you really do want to make sure you have something to back up everything you do.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
All right, Councilman Brown.
Thank you for the audit results. I have several quick questions.
No problem.
So for the material weakness and the corrective actions for the last audit, what is the procedure process for the town to correct that? Do we come back to you as an auditor and tell you what we're gonna do? Or you come back and then you come back to inspect if we did that?
So really what I believe we're going to be doing this year and just kind of working with the town is they'll come with me with some of their, ideas or their processes, policies and procedures, or they'll already implement items that they feel are correct. So they don't need to come back to me. And we'll notice that when we get to the next audit, but they've also in the past have, ran stuff by me to say, hey, is this going to, what I need to do to fix the issue or something along those lines. So really, we'll find out when we come back again for the audit if something wasn't addressed or not addressed.
So I think I probably conveyed the question improperly. So the corrective action or the finding for last year was that a material weakness, the repeat finding? Was that a material weakness?
Yes.
For the material weakness, we had a corrective action for that material weakness.
Yep.
And so what is the process for us? So once we have identified a material weakness, is there a correction action that we have to submit to your company?
No.
Internal?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay,
Yep. Sorry about that. Sorry.
no problem. Thank you.
All right, council, any other questions? Just want to say thank you for continuing to do this. I think the rest of my questions will be answered in the rebuttal. So thank you for presenting this and just highlighting. It doesn't look like we made improvements in 2 areas and we just remain weak in 1 area. So I'll take 2 out of 3 any day of the week. It gives me a higher percentage. I want the 3 out of 3. But as long as I'm showing that we're improving in our audit, and I think we've come a long way from the days of you having to come look through all of those binders and those papers and be spread out. And I remember you coming over with 4 and 5 tables and having to spread your whole team out.
Yes.
So just to see how far we've come, I want to leave you with a good note to say that our audit has improved every year. And we saw 2 areas of improvement and just 1 area of weakness. So thank you for just that steadfastness. And we'll move on to the next item. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. Have a nice night.
All right, next on our report is the response to the audit. Ms. Kimberly Goodwin, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Good evening. In response to the audit finding 2022-001 for bank reconciliation, we did indeed hire a staff accountant to assist with bank reconciliation. To increase and strengthen internal controls and have the process of bank reconciliation within 15 days of month end. Next slide. For fiscal year in, audit finding 2022-002, fiscal year ending financial closing procedures. We are in the beginning stage of developing policy and procedures for year-end closing and also training staff and also strengthening internal controls, meaning separation of duties, hiring additional staff to assist with the year-end closing. And for internal controls, we want to ensure financial reporting and regulation and compliance, and adhere to general accepted accounting principle standards, which is the GAAP, for implementing fiscal year processing and to improve operational efficiency. And also with this year, we are improving to review with the preliminary audit with the town manager. For the preliminary audit, that is the pre-audit reporting. And that will be reviewed with the town manager and I for year end. For audit finding 2022-003, which is the 941 quarterly reporting, this has been fixed this fiscal year. We are doing reconciliation quarterly to make sure that it is still in balance. But for the 941 report and for payroll taxes, that does need to be assigned by a different person other than me being assigned to it. So that has to have dual control related to the payroll process. Next slide. Prior year findings. We're still working on the bank reconciliation to make sure that a corrective action. Down towards the bottom, for prior year audits that we have corrected, which is 2021-002 audit adjustments proposed by external auditors. I've worked with the auditors and do some scheduling, and then in preparation and have procedures in place for proposed audit schedules. And then for the 2021 VRS reconciliation, that is a procedure that is done bi-weekly before payroll is run, and make sure that that has internal controls as well. And then for 2021-004 allowable costs of activities, that is the reporting of ARPA funds, and that has no finding for fiscal year 2022. To prevent material weakness, it is definitely need separation of duties and strengthening internal controls, which we need additional staff to do so. Also to adhere to the audit recommendations and make sure that we improve every year with the audit report, and also look into in consideration of possibly getting a new financial management system. We've had this system in place since 1990. We as a town has matured with the system, and the system is not really up to date and compliance with financial standards and up to date with computerized software policies.
Is that Southern Software?
Yes.
Okay.
And in this software, there's still a lot of procedures that we do manually that we also have to present to the auditors that we cannot do in the system. And the town manager will be advertising information, requests for information and RFI to obtain ideas for future systems. Any questions?
Chair Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor.
say
Thank you,
good.
Ms. Goodwin. I appreciate this. I'm happy to hear that you already have corrected most of the shortcomings that we had before. You have a plan in place to prevent future
Yes.
future weaknesses from materializing. I do have a question. If you could explain reconciliation to me, because I believe you said we have a new process that reconciliation will take place quarterly. I believe the auditor said that it should take place monthly. Can you clarify how that?
So the 941 tax reporting is quarterly. Bank reconciliation is monthly.
Okay.
And that will be done within 15 days of month end.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Councilman Fields?
Yes, thank you for the prompt reporting. And it also highlights what we all hear about is acknowledgement and accountability. So acknowledging where your weaknesses are or what the weaknesses are is transparent. You know, accountability and being transparent. So I believe that there should be no doubt in anyone's mind that the staff and the council are not being transparent. We are being very transparent. I'm glad to see that. I'm glad to hear that. And I know many others are. So we're working hard to fix some old things, and it takes time to fix some old things as the town has grown so much, and it takes time. So I do appreciate your due diligence and hard work.
Thank you.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you. So Kim, to echo one of the things that Councilman Fields said is, I too appreciate the accountability. I know that in the last report, one of the management responses was that in order to address some of the issues with some of the reconciliation and some of the issues with the segregation of duties and things of that nature, one of the responses was to hire additional staff. And I know that when you came on board, you had the monumental task of really bringing our financial systems and processes to the future, as the mayor talked about with regard to, you know, things being spread out in papers. So I know that that was a very daunting task, and I recognize that as one person, and to slowly have to build the staff up, it takes time to do that. So I understand that over the course of time in doing that, there will still be some errors made because you are one person. So with that, I redirect to the town manager. So one of the management responses from the last audit was, we're going to hire some people, we're going to address these issues. And if it was said before that, yes, we're going to hire some additional staff because there's a lot that still needs to be done, share with us, please, your plan for hiring additional staff. I know that you mentioned it briefly before. I've heard you say that you have some plans in place for hiring additional staff, because what I do not want to see is the same issues coming up again. And one of the things that we see that has come up again is that there is still an overlap with, you know, the segregation of duties, the same person, just, it sounds like there's just not enough people. Or if it's not just about not being enough people, but just the fact that one person is doing too many of the same things, and this is where the errors are happening. And the other thing with getting things in order with regard to turning in receipts and invoices and things like that, because going back to Councilman Fields' point is that's where the transparency comes in, you know, so welcome to Dumfries. Thank you. So I'd like to hear what your response is, because a lot of this falls on, you know, how do you plan to help us address these things?
Yes, ma'am. So as we are in the process of adopting a budget, we are focusing on our financial house as well as separating certain duties and functions. In the budget, we have another position for accountant as well as a human resources coordinator to separate some of those responsibilities. I'm also looking at aligning functions under the finance department and reviewing all of the policies and procedures in place to make efficiencies. We are also in the process of doing a financial assessment where someone can come in and make a recommendation as to where we are falling short and how we can fix these in a timely manner before Mr. Moran comes back next year and these findings could be eliminated for the organization. So we have all been working collectively, trying to identify what we need to do and get into it really fast. But I believe that we'll get there in enough time. I'm sorry.
Great.
I hope I answered your question.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Mr. Brown.
So I just want to, I guess, readdress the issue of staff. So is the cause of the not being able to meet the deadline for the end of the year, is that just staff or is that procedures?
It's both. There's no procedure in place, and there has never been a procedure in place. And that has been an audit issue for a long time in staff. Because in finance, it's just one person handling a lot of transactions throughout the day-to-day operations. But we just recently hired a staff accountant to assist. We hired her back in August, and she is also lightening the load for me on that side. But for the payroll side, I definitely need an additional person to handle that load.
Okay, so town manager, we had a discussion when you first came in about internal controls.
Yes, sir.
So in corrective actions, and this is pretty much my background, so I'm not going to drill you too hard on.
No, that's okay.
But there's a root cause analysis. And when you tell me, or what I'm hearing is that it's staff and internal controls. It could be the combination of the both, but there's a root cause is that resulted in not making the deadline in 2 years.
Yes, sir.
Be very specific
Right.
in addressing that root cause, so this doesn't happen again. If we don't address the root cause, even though we hire staff, it's a potential to happen again.
Yes,
So
sir.
we do want to make sure that we're actually looking at that root cause. and not just leave it at that.
Understood.
So just to piggyback, I think everybody asked my questions, but to just tag on to what Councilman Brown is saying there, that when we had a department of one, the audit still came in on time. Right? When we had a person, even though they had the books and everything. And so we just want to make sure that the corrective action is in place, because we should have been looking at the audit back in February. You know,
Right.
we're in May now. So want to make sure that whatever needs to happen, especially we set big goals for the finance department. And so you have to have the audit on time to hit the goals, right?
Right.
Because we set a goal to get the GFOA Triple Crown, which requires an on-time audit, which
Right.
requires, so we've raised the bar in where we want to be at with our government finance association. So with that goal being in place, and we know as we look at this budget, we've set those goals. So I just
Yes.
wanted to attach myself to all the comments, say, well done on the work that you all have done. We're looking forward to continuing this conversation as we adopt this budget and to see that we hit these marks. And seeing that there are no more questions, we're going to move on to the next item on the agenda.
Thank you.
All right, which is our town manager's report.
Yes, sir. Mr. Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, you have before you the town manager's book report. I will briefly highlight a few things that have improved. We have improved our customer service transaction times. We have went down from 7 minutes to 5 minutes. We have improved the amount of time that it takes us to process our accounts payable, which used to be done within 21 days, and we're now at 4 days for processing accounts payable. We have improved our average zoning application review time, which was initially 14 days, and we are now down to 2 days for that. Moving on, I wanted to also highlight that the town is providing a grant. It's providing a grant in the amount of $5,000 to Prince Williams counties for Habitat for Humanities to aid with critical home repairs of residents in Dumfries. If you have any questions for me, I'm available.
Vice Mayor.
I'm full of questions tonight.
Go for it.
The grant to Habitat for Humanity,
Yes, ma'am.
how did we come up with this grant for $5,000 to Habitat for Humanity?
So, and I'm gonna have Nick speak to it, but it's actually a match. They actually put in 5,000 and we put in 5,000. But I believe over the last budget review, it was a question as to what we were gonna do with those funds. And Nick, if you want to speak a little bit more in detail, that'll help us.
Yeah, so I could speak to that. Over the last few weeks since the budget presentation in April, I wanted to, find a way to spend this funding that we had available. And due to the timing of, the end of the fiscal year coming up, I reached out to Habitat for Humanity. The town clerk actually has a contact over with them, and I actually reached out to them and I asked, hey, is there anything the town can do to help in terms of, are there any projects in the town that we could contribute or match? They came with one project that they had a sewer line that was broken. They haven't had water in the last 3 months. And I thought that would be a good cause to, have that grant to match the grant with Habitat for Humanity. And that was just, we had reached out to them earlier last week and we had finalized everything by last Friday.
Is that sewer line that you're referring to within town limits?
Yes, it is. And it's actually within her home. So that's around a $12,000 repair cost. So we wanted to match Habitat for Humanity because they don't have that much left in their budget because that's when their budget ends the same time as ours. So in order to allow them a little bit more flexibility to offer other residents either in the town or in the county, we decided to match them 5,000. They would contribute 5,000. So this person would finally be able to have the ability to take a shower within their home after not having
Awesome.
it for 3 months. So
That's awesome. I just wanted to ensure that it was a town resident.
yes, it was.
Okay, thank you.
It was.
Mr. Brown.
So just a comment to the town manager. Thank you for the numbers. I like hearing numbers. For transparency, can you, I guess, indulge us in what was contributing the decrease in turnaround time?
What was contributing to the decrease in turnaround time in regards to which one?
Your times for customer service.
Oh, goodness gracious, I will make
You-
that attempt.
You-
Hold on a second.
You can get back to me on that,
I will.
but I want for the public to understand that being transparent, the numbers sound good. What's behind the numbers? Was it a decrease in the number of customer service coming in,
So I got.
or was it the same? So that would give us a better picture of are we actually improving?
So to improve customer service time, what the staff started to do is schedule visits to the DMV downstairs, which allowed them to focus more behind the scenes on processing those transactions, getting out the different license plates and registrations and things like that. So they was able to make those improvements by scheduling appointments for people to come in. So it was less interruptions. You're welcome.
I would just ask that on the grants, if one, we can do a press release, and then two, kind of to celebrate and be a part of the council, to be a part of, that project. And maybe we present like a big check or something to say, to celebrate all of the goodwill that the council is doing. That's all. All right. Moving on, we'll move into our public hearings. Our first, and I don't know if we want to do all three of these at the same time, town manager. Let me ask the attorney. Yes, we can do all three. Cool. All right, I just want to make sure before I say it. All right, so we can hit all three. All right, so we're moving into our public hearing for consideration of the ordinance to adopt funds for fiscal year 2024 in the amount of $10,732,000. Consideration of an ordinance to adopt the town fiscal year 24 fee schedule, a consideration of a resolution to adopt our fiscal year 24 through 28 capital improvement plan. Before the public hearing, town manager or deputy, do y'all want to make any remarks before we go in about any? No? Okay. Council, any questions about? We've deliberated over it the last couple months now, so I guess you guys have exhausted the conversation. At this point, I will open the public hearing. Madam Clerk, is anyone here to speak on the budget, the fee schedule, or our capital improvement plan?
No, sir.
All right, did anyone come in that looked over the budget that wanted to speak to the budget, the fee schedule, or the capital improvement? Okay, going once, going twice. Public hearing is now closed. Chair Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We're in discussion now, right? Or,
Discussion on motion.
okay, so I would like to make a motion to approve the budget, the fee schedule, and the capital improvement plan for 2024.
Mr. Mayor, I think it would be prudent because of these budgetary items to do them separately. I appreciate being concise with it.
Okay, we'll do it one at a time.
Okay. But I do restate.
Restate your.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to approve the budget for 2024.
Second.
It's been motioned second. All right, any discussion? Okay. All right, seeing no discussion, I'll call for the question. Councilman Brown? Aye. Councilman Peterson?
Aye.
Councilman Fields?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem?
Aye.
Vice Mayor?
Yes.
And that's a yes for me. Okay, the budget carries 6-0.
And Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2024 fee schedule.
Okay, fee schedule?
Second.
It's been motioned and second. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, let's try this. Councilman Peterson?
Aye.
Councilman Brown? Aye. Councilman Fields?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem?
Aye.
Vice Mayor?
Yes.
It's a yes for me. That motion carries 6-0. All right,
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve the 2024 capital improvement plan.
Second.
it's been motion, it's been second. Okay, any discussion? All right, seeing no discussion, I'll call for the question. Councilman Fields?
Yes.
Councilman Brown?
Aye.
Councilwoman Peterson?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem?
Aye.
Vice Mayor?
Yes.
That's a yes for me. That motion carries 6-0. All right, next on our agenda is a closed session, one personnel matter relating to consideration of prospective candidates for a Newtown position and assignments of responsibility to that position pursuant to Virginia Code 2.2-3711 Alpha 1. 2, a personnel matter related to a specific employee pursuant to Virginia Code 2.2-3711 Alpha 1, and one personnel matter relating to assignment and performance of specific public officers pursuant to Virginia Code 2.2-3711 Alpha 1, one personnel matter relating to the town manager's employment agreement pursuant to Virginia Code 2.2-3711 Alpha 1, and consultation with legal counsel regarding the foregoing specific personnel matters pursuant to Virginia Code 2.2-3711 Alpha 8, with a motion made by myself.
Second.
Second.
Okay, it's been motion and second. Any discussion? All right, seeing none, I'll call for the question. Councilman Fields?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem?
Aye.
Councilman Peterson?
Aye.
Vice Mayor?
Yes.
Councilman Brown?
Aye.
It's a yes for me. We will pass the 6-0. We'll take 10 minutes to give y'all a stretch break, go to the bathroom. We'll meet at 8:10.
Book a getaway with Marriott Bonvoy and discover your personal paradise. Savor a new adventure and get away from the everyday. Wherever you're dreaming of, we know just the place. Book at one of our extraordinary hotel brands today.
What will you design today at canva.com?
Bam! HelloFresh. Guys, shrimp spaghetti with the kick is what we're gonna make. You guys know that HelloFresh makes cooking dinner easy, fun, and affordable. Let's do this. Everything is already pre-packaged, pre-portioned, so you guys have no food to waste. HelloFresh is so good, you guys. Me and Des have it every other night, and it's absolutely delicious. They have 50 different kind of menu options, including vegetarian, calorie smart, and gourmet options. So HelloFresh makes it super flexible to skip a week, change delivery dates. You can customize your meals super easy. You guys, look at this. We got this done in less than 20 minutes. Let's try it out. Cheers. There's no way I made that at home. So delicious, you guys.
Use code YouTube16FM for 16 free meals and free shipping, plus 3 surprise gifts.
Hey, it's Neil. This is the Google Pixel 7a, a brand new phone by Google with an amazing camera, great battery life, and live translate. Let's take a look.
This is Tanya, and what makes the Chick-fil-A chicken sandwich original to me is that warm bun, the perfectly seasoned chicken, and that pickle. Woo! I love it. There's a taste of my childhood in every bite.
Here for the Dunkin' Run campaign commercial. It's a great deal. A large coffee and a donut for $1. I mean, thanks for
You departed.
Are you in the
Perfect.
I met Damon.
Yeah, I love him. He's great. Yeah.
Time for a Dunkin' Run. Get a $1 donut with any medium or larger coffee.
Can make a big difference.
Later, because they coming out. I need your quotes.
Did you email?
You can hold on to that because he's not here. So you can hold on to that and kind of highlight what you need from the managers. It's all public information.
Me tell me we could be out of here by 9 o'clock. What? I thought we could be here at 10, 11 o'clock tonight. What my
All right, whereas the town council of Dumfries has convened in closed session on today's date of May 16th, 2023. And everybody who votes yes, in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, Virginia Code 2.2-3712 requires a certification by the town council that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now therefore be it resolved that the town council of Dumfries is going to certify that to the best of each member's knowledge that only public business matters lawfully exempt from open meeting requirements by Virginia law were heard, discussed, or considered in closed session. Only such public business matters as were identified in the motion in which we went in closed session were heard, discussed, or considered.
Second.
Okay, it's been motion and second. Any discussion on the motion? All right, Councilwoman Peterson,
Yes.
Councilman Brown,
Aye.
Mr. Fields,
yes.
Chair Pro Tem,
Aye.
Vice Mayor,
Yes.
and that's a yes for me. All right, town manager, town attorney, anything to report out of closed session? Do we? Not the report out of it? Oh, we just going to the action items. Okay, very well. Well, next on our agenda, with nothing to report, action item, action to appoint the town treasurer. Town
Mayor-
manager, the floor is yours.
Mayor, members of council, you have before you an ordinance for the appointment of the town treasurer. It is my recommendation that Ms. Karen Upol be appointed as a town treasurer. Ms. Upol understands that there will not be any change in her compensation, and she has willingly accepted the position if the council so moves so.
Vice Mayor?
Yes.
No, you had your mic on. I thought you had a question.
Oh, I was ready.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Is
There's no motion on the floor.
is that a motion?
No, it hasn't been yet.
Okay, I make the motion that we go ahead and take the recommendation of the town manager for
Appointment of a town.
appointment of the town treasurer.
A second.
Okay, it's been motion and second. Ms. Pandak, do I need to read this resolution or are we good with these codes?
You can have the motion is to adopt the resolution in the package. That would be fine.
Very
Thank you.
Okay. Motion still saying?
Yes.
And your second still staying?
Yes, sir, it does.
Okay. Very well. Seeing no discussion. All right, Mr. Fields.
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem.
Aye.
Vice Mayor.
Yes.
Ms. Peterson.
Yes.
Mr. Brown.
Aye.
That's a yes for me. Congratulations to our new town treasurer. Next on the agenda is a resolution for workers' compensation for the members of the town council of Dumfries. Town manager.
Mayor, members of council, you have before you a resolution to add the members of town council on our workers' compensation insurance. And I need a motion and a pass for it. Thank you.
Is there an impact to the budget?
There is a nominal impact of $85 annually.
$85 a year. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Very well.
Mayor again,
Yeah.
I make a motion that we accept the resolution to add town council members to the workers' compensation.
Second.
Okay, it's been motion and second. Any discussion? I don't want nobody slipping and falling. It's my discussion just because you have a workers' comp. It's
to be breaking laws at this point.
It's breaking. Okay.
Nobody did that.
Seeing none, I will call for the question. Mr. Brown?
Aye.
Mr. Fields?
Yes.
Ms.
Yes.
Peterson?
Yes.
Chair Pro Tem?
Aye.
Vice Mayor?
Yes.
That's a yes for me. That motion carries 7-0. Town manager, you have any other business for the betterment of this council?
No, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Seeing none at this time, I will adjourn this meeting.